Hello, hello. As I enter in a rumble of thunder. You may hear it. Probably not, though. It isn't like right here, but it has been here all day. So, if I do disappear, that would be because we lost our electric. So far, we've not lost our electric today. However, we lost our satellite feed because of dark clouds, and we lost our phone line for very unknown reasons, and we lost our internet till somewhere around, I don't know, noon or 1 o'clock. So I'm lucky to be here, and I'm happy to be here. Guitar Nut, hello, and welcome. I hope all is well with you. Glad to see you here. I am back to spinning the black Shetland today again. I have one more bobbin. I'm only going to get 2 bobbins out of what I had combed, so hopefully can do that bobbin today. I want to show you a couple things. I went to my daughter's. She of course works, so I don't get to see her much during the week, but I went today because she had my birthday present, and which was belated, and a Mother's Day present, which was early, as I usually get. She manages to snag me and get both of them to me at the same time. Sometimes we are walking together on our way to a fiber fair because they kind of coincide. But this year the fiber fair is 2 weeks away yet, so it's not that close. And so I went to see her today, and she gave me a couple things. The first thing is something she and I both love. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Soak. It is put out by Ravelry. If anybody has been on Ravelry forever, what you wouldn't know is it's the original set, and it's called Unleashed. And I generally only buy the scent-free, and I like this. This was like the first time I ever tried Soak years and years ago. It was their thing. It was the only fragrance, and so they re-released it, and she got me a bottle. Soak is used for washing yarn. It is not used for washing fleece, okay? It is used for washing yarn. Hand-washed clothing can be washed in this. I don't wash my dishes in it. But really, it is for washing my yarn, is what I like to do. And the big deal about this, and the reason it's called Soak, is you don't have to rinse it out. Now, I do, but I don't worry if I don't get it rinsed real good. So, you know, when you have a skein of yarn and you're washing and everything, you kind of wonder, with all those loops and quirls and everything, if it gets rinsed out real good. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't with this Soak. So, yes, Celebration Scent has been a recent one, and this Unleashed, like I said, has just been re-released sometime last month or so that she ordered it. So check it out. But if you're not familiar with Soak and you routinely spin, I recommend it for washing yarn. There's been other products that I have used from the Woolery. I mean, there are other products to use like this, but these are the one people who say you really don't have to rinse it out. So, the second thing she got me is a bit of frippery, fun stuff. I don't know how exactly to show it here. Okay, so you know lights that you hang up somewhere? They're about 5 foot long of them. Okay, if you can see, these are llamas. So cute. I gotta hang it somewhere here in the streaming room. I was trying to figure out how to get it on the stream, but that just, I don't know. I'm not real sure how that's gonna happen, but it is really adorable little llamas. So those were my presents for my birthday and for Mother's Day. She did good. Alright, let's go to the camera. The other news is totally like unimportant to everybody, except I'm very excited about it. Twitch seems to be back fixed. I was having difficulty with Twitch. This is so hard to see. You know, I think I need to move it this way a little more. It just wasn't signing on the way it normally did. I could get signed on, right? But it was weird the way it was happening. And today, when I went to it, it seems all happy again. So they must have figured out, there must have been some kind of problem, and they figured out what to do and got it back to normal. So good for you, Twitch programmers. You did good. Whoops. So it is a dark and stormy day. I mean, we have had lots and lots and lots of rain. We have had lots of thunder and lightning. Like I said, not always really close, but definitely in visual and audible distance. And it's cold. I have my blanket on my knees today because I am just chilly, and the furnace is not running. Probably because it thinks, oh, you know, it's 72 degrees outside. I don't need to run. Well, it's 72 degrees and damp, and it's just chilly in the house. So I have the blanket on today. All right, we've got another box, just like the other box. Oh, get in the camera there. There we go. Uh-huh. We can do this. Oh, that's just black as black can be, isn't it? You can't even tell that's fiber. All right. Black shelf. One more time. Not really. After I comb more. Oh, goodness, I have a lot to do. I don't want to let go of my loop here. I've got my loop open and don't want it to twist back on itself, so I'm trying to do two things at once here. So, hubby is doing what I've been doing since I got home from my daughter's is reading. And, it's just the perfect kind of day for that. Dark and gloomy, cat on your lap, book and cup of coffee. That's what I've been doing today mostly. I am at the almost conclusion of a very large trilogy called the King's Bridge series by Ken Follett. Very good, but it's been probably a year, maybe less, that I have been working on reading it. I have, read a book and then read a couple other short books in between, but each of the books in the trilogy is close to 600 pages. It's a wonderful historical novel, full of course, the actual historical facts, political and set in England, but they eventually get way involved with France and Spain, and there are battles. And the biggest thing I notice is how well the author does the when the Protestant movement arose because of the countries being mostly Catholic, and then the Protestant came along, and that is captured, especially in this last book. So it's a good read, and I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm almost done. So when you get very close to the end of a book, it's like a horse galloping to the barn, right? I don't want to put it down. And I'm fortunately in the position where I can do that. Hubby has spent the day snoozing in front of the TV. He worked really hard during this week of good weather, and he's catching up on some nap time, I think. Alright, let me undo a couple of these. I have a lot of yarn I need to wash. I don't know whether I want to make that my priority this coming week or not. I haven't quite decided. We really don't have much planned for this week. It is going to rain the first part of it. So I might be able to get some inside stuff done. In 2 weeks is the Fiber Fair in Frankfort, Kentucky, so we are going on Sunday. I finalized those plans with my daughter. Gonna have a carload go, so I won't be streaming. Maybe I'll stream Saturday evening or something. I probably could stream Sunday evening, but I might be too tired. It's a pretty big Fiber Fair. A lot of walking. This top is just like bits and pieces here. Also, I'm toasty. I may have overestimated how chilly I was. Go figure. That was a long roll of thunder. You finished a bobbin of some merino silk web. Oh, bats. You've been 3-plying them for about an hour now. Are you doing a traditional, are you doing a chain ply, Navajo ply, or are you doing the just 3 singles running together? I've done both. Lots of yardage. Okay, must have spun pretty thin. You're taking your time. This is the nicest you've spun so far. Yeah, 3 singles, 3 different bobbins. Good for you. Oh, I can't wait to see that. That sounds lovely. What a wonderful blend. How are the baby bunnies doing? I know you probably don't disturb the nest much. It's not a good idea if for a little bit yet. But hopefully, Mama's been feeding them, taking care of them. You should be able to tell because they're moving around and squeaking. If they're awake. They were gradient bats, so you tried to get them to form a nice long gradient yarn. Very good. Did you buy the bat? Or do you have a way to make bats on your hand cards? I think I'm... The babies are doing great, and so is Mom. Mother Hollenlop also delivered the following day. Oh, she had 3. Both moms are doing great. Wow! Baby bunnies everywhere. That's wonderful. Isn't it amazing, the instincts they have? Really. It's just really amazing. It's their first time. That's what is really amazing, isn't it? It's instinct. Yeah. I know cats having kittens are the same way, except that they don't make nests. I've never quite figured out, every cat that I've had that had kittens, every contact I've had with that experience, the cat kind of wandered around. They were in the house, but it was it wasn't like they had them in the same place. Now, I think cats instinctively go and put them in the same place after they're all born. But that could have just been because they were domesticated cats and they didn't know where to go in, to feel hidden or whatever. After the cat had a lot of cases, we didn't know the cat was pregnant. And after the cat had the kittens, we gave him a box. But that probably was part of the problem, was we didn't really realize. The first time I saw it, unbelievably, I was a youngster. I think I might have been in high school, but I say unbelievably because my mom and dad did not like cats in the house at all. They didn't like cats, so I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that even happened. That the cat was in the house, but anyway, the second time was here, and it was a cat that we had gotten from not the Humane Society, but a private individual who was not able to keep the cat. And about 2 weeks later, she started delivering babies. So, there was like unknown history on her. And I knew she wasn't neutered, so I wasn't surprised, but I thought I could get her to the vet, before she actually went into heat or had any kittens, and I was wrong. How cute it would be if a cat made nests. Yeah. That's... I guess that they're still so connected to their wild ancestors. They're the predator. The cats are the predator. They don't need to make... the animals that are making nests for their babies are the prey. So it kind of makes sense in a way. I hate it when Newman gets a baby bunny. Most of the time he doesn't kill it, but I know that it won't live. Even if I get that bunny away from him, I know it won't live because they tend to die of fright. And of course nests, mice absolutely make nests. Their babies are helpless little things. Birds make nests because, well, most of the time you gotta have a place to put an egg. One of my faux pas of country life, in other words, proving I didn't know country life when I moved out here quite a few years ago, my neighbor ran cattle, and he always had calves. And to be honest with you, before that, I had never seen a calf born. And I did not realize that they can walk around with a calf half hanging out of them for a while, right? That didn't look right to me, so I called my neighbor, who at the time he was still working. So I got his wife, and she called him because I don't think she knew one way or another, So he came home from work. Well, by the time he got home, that cow had that calf. I was like, oh, I should have just not worried about it. after I spin this, I'm going to go back and spin. I'm going to get a very nice purchased braid of some kind of fiber and spin it. I'm a little tired of spinning my home processed fiber here. I need something silky, or I don't know. I just need something wonderful to spin. Not that this is not wonderful. It's just not, I don't know, beautiful. It's just, it's practical. It's serviceable. It's, you know, it's just wool. I need something with sparkle in it or something. I don't know. Yeah, I am sure that was fine. I imagine most folks would want to be around for delivering. Complications arise. Yeah, I mean, he's never even razzed me about it, and he could get away with razzing me about it. But we have been neighbors for as long as since I moved here in '89, so I've known him forever. Need to spin something neon. Yes, Dan, just like your name there. I know. You are right. I probably don't have neon in my stash. It's not my style. Yeah, I'll pull something from the stash because the fiber fair is 2 weeks away, so I'll be needing fiber before that. Alright, I don't know if I have any bamboo or tencel. That's all shiny. That might be nice. I forget what I have in my stash. Although I have a lot of it on Ravelry, but I really only use that and then say make yarn, you know, after I make the yarn. See, because before I was spinning this, I was spinning the white top on the Nano. So I have been in the basic colors here for a while. Boy, these are so tiny. Tiny little nests. Really can't even get them apart. What I should do also is pull out the fair book and look at the categories again. I sort of know them, but it doesn't hurt to have that out while I'm pulling the fiber out of the stash. I tell you, that comes up before you know it. Summer gets busy and the fair is in August. It's just like I have to just apply, send in my application, but I don't have to submit anything then. I have the time between May and August to spin it. Oh, you just listened to the Lichen podcast. You think you found some on your property? That's okay. That's great. Gonna research it, but I'm excited to mess around with it sometime. Yeah. You know what I think I said already, but discovered, I probably said in the podcast too. It's very site specific. You'll get the same lichen in that area. It's like they find a niche to grow in and they never move, right? So, just don't harvest it all. You know where I have a lot of lichen growing? Maybe I should take a picture of it sometime, post it on Discord. We put our mailbox in a cover, so you don't see the metal, and it's wood slats. It's supposed to be outdoor wood, right, coated with weatherproofing and stuff like that, but it's been so many years ago that it's fallen apart, but it is covered in lichen, and I have 2 of them here in the house that I'm going to harvest the lichen off of it, but if I do finally, I have 2 because they've fallen off, right? Not the lichen, the wooden slats have fallen off. It's fallen apart, and I think I'm just going to take those slats and store them that way, probably on my porch, and the lichen can keep growing. It's sort of like, I think I have a lichen farm, but it isn't necessarily going to be on something that you think of as living or just recently died, like a tree or whatever. It'll grow on any kind of wood, really. That's what I said I was going to buy at, I have a lot of fiber to dye, but I said I was probably going to dye more of something to do lichen dyeing with. And when I say more of something, I mean less merino, more like a blueface, no, more like a border Leicester, or a maybe a, well, it could be a Shetland. I might get but I don't want to buy a fleece. I'm not talking fleece. I am talking yarn or something. I have plenty of fiber to dye. I really would like to dye some yarn. So I am going to be buying yarn blanks. Boy, that took forever to get that resolved in my mind. I had already done all that thought process before, but the immediate thing that came out was I was going to buy fiber, because that's what I do so often. I was like, wait, that's not right. That's not what I decided. I should talk to somebody sometime about teaching a class on it. I just not the one we're going to right now, I don't think. And I don't know. My daughter and I were talking this morning about the fact that, there is no yarn store, because I was telling her about going up to Covington and buying yarn, and there, no local yarn store. And she said, Mom, she says, I think because we have so many fiber fairs immediately near us. I mean, within, at the most 3 hours one-way drive. And they're consistent. We've had them for any number of years, and people are now accustomed to saving their money, spending it at the fiber fair because they can get yarns there. Fiber fairs used to be you just bought fleeces and maybe some processed fiber to spin, and every once in a while somebody'd have hand spun, or rarely somebody had some yarn. Well, now it's all yarn. So the fiber fairs in this area, at least, we think has replaced the local yarn store. I did a lot of research on the lichens. I have 2 books that I bought, and I found a fair amount on the internet. But yeah, I did a lot on lichen because it was kind of like not your typical type of dyeing in many ways, if that makes sense. So definitely read up on it. Wow, that's a long strand, and there's a super short one. This is so soft. I don't know that the yarn, hopefully the yarn will feel this way too. It is. It's just so soft. Especially when you get it in a nice bunch like this, right? A big. And you don't feel the softness quite as much when it's small like that. That's good. I love libraries. If I win the lottery, I am going to start a lending library of fiber books. But I gotta win the lottery. I can tell my daughter to start that with what I have when I no longer need them, but there's way more. I don't have any weaving books. There's way more that could be put in a library like that. And, I wouldn't mind if they get donated to the library, but I'm just not 100% sure, because libraries are afflicted by having a set amount of space, and of course they have to go by what they think will appeal to the most customers, in order to be good service. You have found a cool North Carolina Agricultural Extension Office video write-up about botanical dye garden. Oh, so you ordered a lot of that seed when I got things for your garden this year. Fun. I want to see all about that. Rita Buchanan has a book on dye gardens that I have, and I tried one year to plant a dye garden. Did not have very good luck. So, yep, cool natural dye options. You'll probably just dry it and give it away to people. No, you have to do the dyeing. But it depends how much you get. Now, if you have, a lot of space, you may get an awful lot of what you want. But, I wanted to grow indigo, and it didn't grow for me. I probably need a greenhouse. Which of course is another blue sky dream of mine. I've always wanted a greenhouse, but it just didn't do well here. And a lot of what you can grow will give you greens and yellows and browns. And I'll be honest with you, you can get that wild picking in your meadow, right? It's almost not worth growing them, except to see like I grew the cotton, to see the plant cycle. I enjoyed that so much, right? So it's a fun thing. That's a very enjoyable thing to do. So, I'm gonna write me a note. Next time, Guitar Nut, I'll bring the two books with me. And we'll talk about it a little bit, what it has to say in those books and stuff. Oh, well, let's make that Thursday evening. Okay, because Tuesday morning you may be busy working, and we'll make it Thursday evening. If you're not around, I'll hold on to them till you show up. wasps in this. What's the next color? Hi, Nest Bandit. Oh, for the 2-ply? My goodness. That's lovely. I'm doing good today. Oh, that's right, 3-ply. Holy mackerel. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Especially for a bat. You know, because I think of bats, of course, will give you that little bit more bulky woolen spun, but you know, you can force a semi-worsted, you can force the smooth worsted out of it, but you have to have a really, really good prep in the bat, or it goes thick and thin, you know, it won't be real consistent. You have learned well. And I won't say grasshopper. Even though I just did. Doesn't it sometimes feel like you've always known how to spin? I find that sensation very interesting. Like, you know, how much of this really is genetic? How much of this is past life? You want to get really off the deep end. Okay, some really high-end bats. Yeah. A lot of silk in it. Well, that's why silk wants to spin thin. It is almost impossible not to have silk spin really thin. So that's why you are right. That is why you got a really nice, thin single. And you are an old soul. Yeah, it does feel inherent. See what I mean? I know what you are talking about. There are as many things that I run across that are that way for me. A lot of people would just turn around and say, oh, that's common sense. You know, that's just common sense. It probably is. But I could have looked at that Angora bunny at the fair and said, oh, that's so cute, and then walked away instead of saying, I want to raise Angora rabbits, right? That had to come from somewhere. I'm talking about this Shetland except for the fact that it has neps in it. It's wanting to spin really thin also. And you know, I have always heard that the Shetland is what they use for the ring shawls, where it goes through a ring when they knit with it. You know, it's so thin and light and everything. And I'm like, the Shetland I've always run into is just not like that. And I do wonder if it's because it's not from Shetland. It's not from Europe. Everything I buy is raised in the United States, and of course the sheep's fleece is only as good as the sheep's genetics, right? But this is wanting to spin thinner than a lot of Shetland that I've had worked with. I mean, up till now, some of the Shetland I just couldn't get it to spin thin at all. But it also felt a lot shorter stapled. This has pretty nice long staple to it. Have you always had that feeling pop for you? I can't answer that. I don't know. Again, I think what mostly happened was I always had a curiosity about things, right? And so if I think of from early 20s on, I went from one craft to another craft to another craft to another craft. I mean, there was this is fun. Let me learn everything about it. Let me do it for a while, and then I would go on to something else. That's not so much inherent to what people did in the past, what people did in my family, any of that, right? It's not related to that at all. So I think it's more just a healthy curiosity and a love of crafting. I've always said that I enjoy knowing how to do the things that are now mechanical or automated or modern, that farmers or women used to do, right? The older skills. But again, I think that's just a curiosity. My parents used to always say they had no idea where I got this live out in the country on acreage. They were urban people, and I was raised in a small town, but still a town. Sometimes I miss that, but I just said I think it came from my dad's mother. I spent a lot of time with her as I was growing up, and I saw her raising flowers. I saw her grapevines, right? So, I think it just came from being in contact with it. I get frustrated by it sometimes, not so much surprises, frustrated, because I'm like, I got too much else I'm interested in. I don't need to be messing with this. That kind of feeling. Alright, I am finally too warm. Even though the furnace has not run at all. I think it's this light a little bit. I could take this top off. Let's see how that does. So, Louisville had its moment of glory yesterday with the Kentucky Derby. We watched an awful lot of the TV coverage of it. And those horses are just amazing. $150,000 people, and I learned something. See, they have a lot of races during the day. The actual Derby is like the third to the last late race. Ran around 7 o'clock last night, but during they were on all day, and during that time they didn't show a lot of the other races, but they had people, newscasters, who there were just lots and lots of stories about the Derby and the horses and the races, and they just filled the time with a whole bunch of stories, as well as having people in various places on the track, because this track, it's huge. Not the track itself, but with places to be, food to eat, bars, that sort of thing. So they had people all over reporting too. So here's where I'm going. This is what I learned. Of course, horse racing, you bet. on the horse race. And they had a story about the workers who work in this horse industry that are not maybe employed by the horse farm, or they are just general labor, right? They're not really specifically working with the horses, but there's lots and lots and lots of jobs that have to be done around a horse track and horse farms. Let me get rid of this ad. Okay. And they are non-U.S. citizens, so they don't have health care. And this is a real problem. I mean, they get sick just like anybody, and they can't afford to go to the hospital, or limbs get broken or whatever, and they cost of health care, medicine is so expensive they can't afford it. So the pari-mutuel window, where you make your bets, has had for the last 10 years or so this policy that if a bet is placed and there are winnings, and the winnings are not claimed, then after a year, all those winnings are held for a year, and if they're never claimed within that year, they put them in a fund, and this fund goes towards various charities, but one of the biggest supported thing is healthcare for this particular group of people that they were talking about that work in the horse industry. And what blew my mind was they have been able to donate $1 million a year to this healthcare fund. Now that means there's been $1 million a year not picked up. I'm like, who makes a bet and doesn't go pick up their winnings? It blows my mind. I love the fact that it's doing good, right? Maybe somebody said, oh shoot, it's only $2. I'm not going to go stand in line and get my $2. And those $2 add up. It could be, people feel that way. Yeah, you make a bet and you win $100, you probably make an effort to do it, but isn't that amazing? That $1 million. So the thing that the whole story was going on about is the fact that that's going to go away. Kind of. They're going to lose some of that funding because now the state of Kentucky allows online betting. So Churchill Downs can now allow you to place a bet on your phone, computer, or whatever. And what's going to happen is you're going to get paid right away into your account, because they have to have access to an account to charge you for the bet. So that same account, the money can go back in. So there's going to be less of this money not claimed, right? And that's what this lady was saying was, yeah, I want people to get their money, but we're worried because we're probably going to have to cut back on how much we do for the health care for, this particular group of workers. Isn't that interesting? I was just like, oh man. So, yes, on Friday, which is Oaks Day, we had a lily because the horses run for a lily, thing of lilies, run for the lilies instead of run for the roses. And so we saw that on some of the stuff they were talking about, and we tried one. We made a lily. It's cranberry juice and lime juice and vodka is what it is on ice. And then we made one mint julep. Hubby may have made two, but I only had one. I am not fond of mint juleps. Um, but we when they ran the race, we watched the race and then we made a mint julep. So we had one. He has a nifty little thing he likes to get out and use every once in a while that crushes the ice instead of, so that's what makes it good, right? You're supposed to have the crushed ice, and so it's a snow cone maker is what it is, but he doesn't call it that. It's his crushed ice maker. So you're basically making a spiked mint snow cone is what you're doing. I grew mint the last couple years, and we could never get a crushed mint in a drink it always was bitter but not many. So we finally gave up and bought syrup in a little tiny bottle that was mint julep syrup. So it was just really strong mint syrup is what it was. And that was acceptable. I could put up with the mint that way because I could control how much I put in. And there was no bitter to it. And the race lucked out. There was no rain either day. It was hotter on Friday for the Oaks than it was Saturday. But, yeah. The bad weather waited until just about 10 o'clock this morning. And I came in. You bartended in college. And one of the things the owner had us do was make an infused simple syrups. Yes. I make a simple syrup all the time. But I have infused it with blackberries. That's my favorite. That one, I keep blackberry syrup around. Put with, usually with bourbon. I bartended once at a church party, church picnic. And you laugh and you say, how could you have a bartender at a church picnic? Well, it was Episcopalian. They drink. But, it was open to the church congregation only, so they needed somebody to pour drinks. I said, well, I'll do it. That was my one and only time to bartend. It's so easy to do, and it turns out and lasts so long. Yes, that's right. What kind of infusions did you do? I mean, when we go to the bar and we look at their cocktails they always have either handmade infusions or bitters. Now, bitters I think are harder to make, but they do that because then they can take a standard cocktail and put that infusion in it and call it their own, right? It's their special drink, right? By putting that ingredient in it. That's how I learned about the blackberry, because they were basically making a uh, bourbon blackberry smash. They smash a couple blackberries in there and then put that infusion in it, or simple syrup in it. So when I go into restaurants, even if I'm not drinking, I look at the cocktail menu to get ideas. I have a couple cocktail books, but not many of them. Only one or two talk about infusions, right? Most of them are about just the standard bartending drinks. Bitters are complicated. Yeah, you only ever buy them. Me too. Lots? Oh. Oh, I have to back up. Oh, most of my family is Catholic. Yeah, lots of drinking. Orange, lime, blackberry, and mint. Okay. All right. Those sound good. Orange is triple sec. And it's so inexpensive. I mean, I buy it. Shoot, it's less than buying oranges sometimes. Blackberries is my favorite because I like blackberries in drinks, but even the little tiny packages, I don't use them up. You know, they're gonna go bad if I don't use them up pretty quick. So, because they're fresh, so I freeze them, and really thawing them after they're frozen isn't. You can bake with them, or you can put them in drinks, right, where they're smashed up. But they're not real good just eat, unless you eat them right before they really thaw. That kind of icy stage. They're pretty good that way. And I have never heard of a lime simple syrup. That sounds good. Lime is something that I always buy lime, what they call a sweetened lime juice in a bottle for cocktails that use lime. Because again, it's not real cheap to buy lemons and limes. Although they last a long time in the fridge. You know, the fruit does last a long time. I will say that. So do oranges, actually. Because I bring oranges back from Florida a lot of times and I'm still eating on them a couple months later if I keep them in the fridge. I need to take a stretch break. Okay. I'm going to put on the Be Right Back. I'll be back. I'm going to stand up and stretch a little bit. Okay, I'm back. You know, this rainy, damp weather has my joints kind of very stiff. I'm very stiff. So it helps to walk a little bit. And I found 2 nests on the floor. 2 escapees. We're getting almost done here. Getting almost empty. There's still maybe a couple dozen there. Yeah, welcome back. You know what I mean, Mass Bandit, don't you? Can't sit too long. Some days are worse than others, though. I opened that door, though, and the cat, Newman, came running. He thought he was going to get to come in here. My cat's in the doghouse. He will not leave the other wild cats alone, and he gets into fights with them, and I've been keeping him inside. So he's a little antsy. I go out with him, but today isn't a good day. It's raining. That cat does not have a single pacifist bone in his body. He does not want anybody else in his house. They don't come in the house, but you know what I mean. In his yard, his world. You went to start your chatelaine and realized I had all the specialty fibers and none of the DMC. Or very few of the DMC, and not the ones in the center that you need to start with. Okay, even that's the worst part, right? Can't even get a start on it. Yeah. Do you generally mail order, or do you have a, do you like go to a, whatever kind of store to get it? I mean, embroidery floss, is it special embroidery floss, or is it just routine? So the DMC and you said specialty fibers. Okay, so you have probably a silk-like or ribbon-like fiber. There's a local craft store an hour away. Oh, wow. I buy there sometimes just to give them business, yeah, but I tend to order online when you can get a deal. Yeah. We all do that, don't we? I know. I mean, it's like I went to the new yarn store that is 2.5 hours away from me. So, I definitely bought some while I was there. I don't think I... Did I post pictures of that? I think I did on Discord, didn't I? But my paycheck yesterday was only $11. Why don't? Because the week before you were only... I was only scheduled 2 days. You went home sick that one day and you had fever the second and stayed home. Oh, no paycheck. Oh dear. That's not good. Yeah. You get paid weekly? Hopefully. So it's not going to be real long. Yeah. Okay. That's fortunate. That's rough though. It's... Well, you gonna find another project or try to start from the top? Yeah. I would never have a problem with finding another project. I have so many started or not started projects, but I know how it feels to be all set in your mind to do something and then it doesn't work out. And ordering online is so quick and easy, but it takes a lot of time sometimes to get to you, and sometimes shipping is terrible. They're best start in the center, and you have a ton of already started works in progress and a ton of knitted up, kitted up, ready to go. But was looking forward to starting that, Chatelaine. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it might not be a real long, a reasonably quick project as cross stitch goes, which is another factor. Sometimes you just want to get something that you can get done in a pretty nice time, so you feel like you're getting something done. That's the way I am sometimes. What can I do to get something done? It's like I have been crocheting on that sweater forever. I need to finish it, but I keep going to things like socks and knitted socks and stuff that I can get done quicker. The place you order from, shipping is under $5, and they are only located in Illinois, and it usually gets to me in less than a week. That's wonderful. Hi, Holly. Spend a little time with me this afternoon before you have to get some chores done. Yay. That's wonderful. Welcome. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. Spent a lot of the last 2 days out on my front porch. However, today is not cold, but very rainy and stormy. So, I've been staying inside today. That's warm for you, Mass Bandit. Holly says my days kind of blend together. I forget most of the time what day it is. I know what that means, what that's like. The only thing that keeps me keep track of the days is streaming, really. That's very important, and I always have to, what day is this, do I stream, kind of thought when I get up in the morning, because that's how I keep track of the days of the week. I know hubby has in the, is this such and such a day, and he's way off, so he doesn't always keep track of it either. Sunny and 80 on Thursday. You're having spring, summer. Yeah, I mean, it was like that. Didn't quite get to 80 the last couple days before today. Yes, you're going straight to summer from winter. That's maybe true, but I think you're going to step back and get some spring-like weather yet. Although it is May. I keep forgetting we're into May now. Our Mays can be very summer-like also. So after watching the Kentucky Derby yesterday, hubby and I have decided that we are going to play local tourists and probably go, not this week, but the next week. They have a senior citizen day at the track. So I think we're going to go for senior citizen day and watch some racing. We've been there, but it's been a couple years since we've gone. Because it was pre-pandemic, I know. The other thing we have is steamboats and paddle boats that are on the river. And you can ride, one's a dinner boat and one is just a sightseeing boat. You can take a trip up a certain distance on the river and then they turn around and come back. We've done that in the past too. Sometimes when we were working, one of our jobs would have their party on one of those boats. We did that one time. One time, my daughter and I went on one of the other ones for a afternoon tea, which was really fun. So, I talk about being a local tourist. We have fun things to do in Louisville, and so every once in a while we go ahead and do it. But we haven't been to the track for quite a while. And they've done a lot of building, improving. When you were in Chicago and your mom came to visit, we did the riverboat tour. Oh, yeah. I used to visit a friend up in South Bend, and she would take me to one in Chicago. It was, but it was on Lake Michigan. She would take me there. We'd go out to a restaurant that was on the lake, and it was always fun. You're still playing. Okay, I believe you. Doesn't it feel like it takes forever? I hate to cry, but you will have lots of yards. Do you have a nitty notty? You have something to measure the yardage? You can if you don't have one, you can space, and you've got good dining room or chairs that have good rigid backs. You can space like 2 chairs side by side with this back and the second chair's back. Usually it's 2 yards, right? But just measure, and measure by taking a thing of yarn around it, and then measure your yarn. That's what I used to do before I really got into the real nitty knotties. It's an estimate, but you're going to wash that yarn anyway, so it'll change a little bit when you wash it. But the best way to measure it is to take a strand of yarn in a circle around it. Then you can adjust your chairs. It's kind of fiddly, but once you get it set, then you can just run your yarn around it. And be sure to tie it before you take it off the chair. Two hours and you're about halfway through. My goodness. Yep. You're spinning on a nano though, right? Small bobbin? Am I right? See, I'm thinking my bobbin's this size and all that. You learned your lesson with that. Your first skein, I didn't tie it right away. I thought you washed it first. Oh, oh dear. You saved it as a nice reminder. It's a 6-ounce bobbin. Okay, all right. Oh, that's right. They're the dayless. Okay. Okay. Those are bigger. They're about the same size, I think, as maybe even a little bigger than these. I think these are I can get 4 ounces if I really. Yeah, they'd be bigger than. So that's quite a bit. You are going to have lots of yards. So I was a little too late with my warning, huh? Oh well. That's how we learn. A few months late. I was very excited. I don't think I've said anything about this on stream. I have a nano, and I, for some reason, was having difficulty getting the battery charged. So I was only able to plug it in to spin. And the other day, I got everything out again, and I plugged something into the battery, and I said, I'm going to try again. And darn if it didn't charge it. I think I must have been using a wrong cord or something, even though it was from the box. But when you buy the Nano, you get a lot of little cords. And so anyway, I'm very happy I have the battery charged. And it works without being plugged in. Now, I don't know how long it's going to hold that charge, and right at the moment I'm not going anywhere. I can spin on it here at home, but I really wanted it not to have to plug in so I could take it with me if we travel. And I think I got it fixed. I have no idea what was going on, but I think I got it fixed, so I was happy about that. Yeah, he was right. I was like, I thought I was going to have to buy another battery. In fact, I even warned hubby that I'd probably be buying one from, it uses a one of those little portable batteries, and I thought, I would be buying one of those from Amazon. But it works. So I'll have these two bobbins to ply, and I also have two Bara bobbins to ply, which is the Romney mohair. Guess I'll be sitting and watching some more of the new season of Mrs. Maisel and get those plied. Okay. Let's see if there's any on the floor. Nope, I don't see any. And I got. Oh, I hear a little. I call them tree frogs. Right outside my window. They love the rain. That's a sound of summer. Or springtime, really. They're courting. I love it when I can open up the windows. I haven't yet this year. Just because by mornings the furnace is running and I got the window open and it's not really what I want to happen. Alright. No, I don't have a braid in mind because I have way too much to know everything that is there. I'll have to stash dive. You know what? I have two right over there, but I don't know what fibers they are. That's what I do. I mean, everything is packed away in cardboard paper boxes. The what reams of paper come in, and then every once in a while I go through there. I call it. I'm sorry, I got a frog in my throat now. That's where the tree frog went. I call it fluffing the stash, right? But I go through and I pull out a duffel bag of fiber for next project. So there is not only a couple dyed braids in there, there is a couple breed specific that I bought when I was doing all the breed studies, and just there's still some I have not spun. So I have those too in that bag. So I'll just see what my fancy gets tickled by, and that'll be it. But doing it that way, I feel like, okay, I've cleared out that much of my stash, right? Instead of pulling it out one at a time from the big storage. It would be, it just, to show my entire stash would just be impossible. Let's just put it that way. Morning, Rising. Morning, Rose. How are you? Ray, JK, hello. I need to look up a little bit every now and then. All Crafty, welcome. Oh, you caught me just in time. I'm at the end of my spinning, and I'm almost at the end of my 2 hours, so I am so glad you all came in. Morning, Rose. I haven't seen you in forever. Welcome. All Crafty, good to see you. All Crafty wave to Morning Rose waves to All Crafty. Waves back. So welcome, welcome, and it's good to see you, JK. I'm sure that you needed to raid and run, uh, possibly because the kiddo is like, I need you right now, Mom. Perfectly understandable. Thank you for bringing your people with you and bringing me to me in a raid. That means a lot to me. I love raids. I am spinning Black Shetland. This is a natural black. It's not dyed. It's almost impossible to see on the bobbin. Um, it is actually from a fleece that was half partially black and partially white, and this is home processed top. So I combed it myself after I washed it. And it's spinning very lovely. This is only a partial part of the black. I still have a lot to comb. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with it because I don't like to knit with black. But I may anyway, because this is a special black, right? This is special yarn. School, Morning Rose says, school's been sucking out my soul. Oh, through your brain. But the semester's over and you passed and now you're here. Oh, that's why I haven't seen you for a while. Oh, well, I am proud of you. I'm glad you got it passed and over with, and school's a good thing. So keep after it. All Crafty said, did you have a good trip? To Covington? I think, maybe. I'm not sure which trip you're talking about. My most recent trip was last weekend. Actually, Sunday, Monday. Not far from us, up by Cincinnati. And I went to a yarn store and I bought yarn. And that was for my birthday. So that was a really fun trip because I had not been to the yarn store. And, I shopped and I sat and talked to them and knit. They have of course, they have two areas. They have a big table. They teach a class almost every day of something, or they have a bring your project if you're stuck day, right, to get help. They're very oriented towards bringing people in. I sat and knit for a while with them, and what was really funny was there was another lady shopping, and they were saying, oh, what brings you here, today? And she says, oh, tomorrow's my birthday. And that was my birthday, right? We were both there for birthday yarn. It was really cool. Yeah. It was a good trip. We had a really nice dinner. It was out on a covered, it was attached to a hotel, so it was like a veranda, but it was all covered in glass, right? But you felt like you were outside. And it poured rain, but it was still really wonderful because you sat there and listened to the rain on the glass roof, and you felt like you were in a terrarium or something like that, It was really fun. All right. I have finished spinning all of the black that I have combed so far. So I am done with that. And I want to do a little bit of show and tell for those of you that just came in, because I had my birthday. And today I went to spend time with my daughter because I hadn't gotten together with her for my birthday. And she bought me some presents. She usually does a gift for birthday and a gift for Mother's Day, because it, you know, like next Sunday is Mother's Day, right? My birthday and Mother's Day fall together so close. So she'll get two things, right? And she'll say, you pick whichever one you want for your birthday and whichever one you want for your Mother's Day. So this was the first one. This is the original Unleashed soak, which was their original fragrance, right? They have brought it back. You get this on Ravelry. And hopefully everybody is familiar with soap. This is what I wash my yarn in. Okay, is what this is. If you're not familiar with it, go check out Ravelry or ask me. But I like it because you don't have to rinse it out. Now I do, but I don't worry if I don't get all of that rinsed out of the yarn, right? Because this is specifically made not to be a problem if you don't get it all rinsed out. And I love the way it smells. They have an unscented one though too. And then the other thing she got me, I want to put it in my room here somehow, but I'm not sure exactly how. So this is little string of lights. They are llamas. Come on, turn around there. The whole string of lights look like that. And they're llamas. And, of course, they light up. Is that not adorable? Unfortunately, there's really no way to get that on my stream background, but it's so cute. It is so cute. So I have managed to celebrate my birthday for almost 2 weeks. That's not bad, huh? I am... Oh, thank you, Hazel Highlander, for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm trying to decide whether to stay on or, unfortunately, go ahead and go like I was planning on it. I don't really have anything else new to tell you. Let's spin a little. Let's see if how my battery's doing here. So I was having trouble with my little Nano and its battery not charging. And I tried again after looking through the cords and everything. Here, let's change cameras. All right, let's get the thing. Sorry, I didn't have this set up for the table like I usually do. There. So I was having trouble with Nano, and I finally got it where the other day, after I finished and was checking it, this that comes with it and runs it actually was making it run. Let's see how much it held. Yeah, it does. I also have this Toshiba, which is supposedly, if this isn't running, it'll run if I connect it to that. But I need to run this down and then see if that works. I mean, I know it works if I plug it in now, but it might be working because of the other nano bases running it. This is it's a ewe lamb. Okay, so it's breed unknown, but it's very bouncy and crimpy. So it's gotta have some merino kind of genetics to it. And its top that I combed. It's been doing pretty good. I may end up having to change the bobbin. I have found that I can't put a whole lot on these bobbins. I can't like cram them full like you do your other electric spinning wheels and treadle wheels. Alright, let me pull this back a little bit, get a little more twist on it, get the pulling going. But I am really happy that I am not having to plug it in anymore. So I'm not real sure what was going on with that. Alright, I need this. Just, I don't know. There we go. I have found this to be fussy. And of course it's not good for large amounts. And an awful lot of this fiber got spun, I think, on the Roberta. But I found this bag of it. I was like, oh, okay, we'll make a small. And I do have to divide this between the two bobbins. I hate to stop and move this, but have to. So I'm really, really happy that I don't have to plug this in. It was really bugging me. I thought I'd have to buy a new battery or something, you know. No, I don't. I put a piece of Scotch tape on the charger that made it work. I would have thought any of them did, but I guess not. Finally done flying. Yay! That is a very long time to fly. Oh, um, yeah, because what's on the bobbin, what's left over is your start. Do you remember which was your first and last bobbins? Because that'll be different too. Probably. Progressively less bobbin, yardage each bobbin. Okay. I actually have on my Aura, I have my bobbins numbered. I, I don't often use it, but it's good for when you're doing a skein that is a gradient, you know, and you want to keep your gradient. In fact, that's what I did with the Advent fiber, which had 25 days, or yeah, 24 days of different colors, and I wanted to keep them in order. That made way more yarn than I thought it would. I got 3 nice size skeins out of that. I'm going to be able to knit something with that. Like some kind of vest or something. Yeah, you get impatient. Oh, I'll change bobbins, then I'll be closer to being done. But if you knew you were going to make a 3-ply, you had to do that. Now, if you did a 3-ply just because you had 3 bobbins, then that's different. But, you know, if you were actually planning on doing a 3-ply, of course you had to start a 3rd bobbin. And sort of make sure you had the same amount on each bobbin. Yeah, it was planned, yeah. Alright, I have to correct myself. Now that I'm spinning this, I remember this is Cormo. This is Cormo that I combed. I bet you it's on that card that's in there. Let me see if I'm right. Oh. No, I'm not right. It is the unknown breed. Okay, never mind. Well, maybe it has Cormo in it. Sure is bouncy. Short, stable, and high crimp.